What's up, y'all? This Hammer here again, back with another video. And today I want to talk about the Sysbm and Passport Bros quote-unquote hashtag movement, because I've seen it kind of getting more and more promoted in the manosphere, and I feel like I just want to give an honest take about this and the flaws that lie with this ideology. You know, I was recently on the panel, and I'm not going to name the name of the panel, but I was recently on the panel in which I was having a back and forth with a bunch of males that are also pushing this Sysbm passport thing. And the issue I have, right, with the quote-unquote Sysbm passport stuff is that, for me, I view it really as a male version of divestors. I'm just going to say it. They are essentially just the male version of divestors, right? I'm like, when you look at YouTube channels like Divested Zealot, when you look at quote-unquote Divested Online, right? Divested Zealot is a YouTube channel where she literally will call black men niggers, talk about how much white men are better. She literally has a photo of her in her channel in which a black man is hanging from a tree. But see, dudes can call out the anti-blackness when it comes to that. Dudes can call out the anti-blackness when it comes to divestors, right? And this over worship of white men, right? And this quote-unquote really degradation of black men in general. But for some reason, when we address the males and how they pedestalize non-black women, now dudes get triggered. Look, one thing I see, especially in Sysbm and in Passport Bros, is this idea I call the black female exception. What does that mean, right? The black female exception is this thing where any issue or problem they quote-unquote identify with black women, they have this thing where non-black women don't have the same issue, right? They try to portray this narrative of any issue that you could potentially encounter with a quote-unquote quote-unquote black woman, right? If you hop over the fence to non-black women, you want to encounter the same issues. I'll give you an example, right? They'll say, well, black women will put you on child support. That's right. A lot of black women will put you on child support. But here's the truth, though. White women, Asian women, right? Hispanic women will also put you on child support, but that never gets addressed. They'll say, black women are feminists. Yes, a lot of black women are feminists, but white women, Asian women, Hispanic women also want feminism. In fact, the reason why this quote-unquote red wave did not materialize during the midterms is because a lot of white women came out and said, no, we are going to fight for abortion rights. Kansas, which is a literally Republican state, voted to keep abortion in place because why? A lot of white women went out there and voted to keep abortion legal in the state. But see, it's funny how that never gets addressed. It's funny how that never gets addressed. They never talk about the white women who quote unquote vote for feminism, right? It's only, feminism is only a black female thing. But that's fine, right? Or they'll say, black women have attitudes. That's right. But non-black women don't have attitudes too, right? Especially Hispanic women. But see, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of it is based on what I call the black female exception, where it's idea where any issue you have or any issue you face with quote-unquote black women, if you quote-unquote non-black women, it does not exist. But see, the problem I have with this argument, right, is that non-black men who are part of these communities are also not doing this. I'm going to give you an example. Right now in Japan, there is an entire herbivore male movement in which Japanese males are saying, we don't want to get married, we don't want to have kids. Right now, there is an entire, all across the West, all across Europe, there is an entire MGTOW white manosphere movement. So let me get this straight. Y'all will hop on these panels like Matt Busdriver and BJs and all of them, right? Talk about how Becky is better, but here's the problem, though. If that's so true, why are white men going MGTOW? Why are white men part of the manosphere? There's an entire white manosphere out there, and they spend all day, literally, bro. If you watch 21 Studios, if you watch Walter Moss, they literally spend all day talking about all the fuckery that white women do. Even Donna the Sharp breaks it down. But if you let these dudes tell you, man, if you just go and get a Beck, you'll be fine. This is how dudes end up going to quote-unquote Colombia, right, because of Passport Bros. And now we got stories coming out of dudes getting drugged and robbed. I'm like, one master teacher was having a video talking about how, There were stories of black men who were going in South America getting drugged. He didn't deny it, right? It's like, but see, dudes don't want to talk about that. And another thing is, right, Colombia has a, 80% single motherhood rate? So you have dudes telling you, y'all need to leave this black woman because they're single mothers, but they'll passport bros to Colombia with an even higher single motherhood rate. It's just, it's crazy to me. And see, one thing that truly got me angry in the conversation was that I was having this back and forth with BGS, right? And he was trying to make the argument that, well, because I'm not married to a black woman, because I don't have kids with a black woman, I can quote unquote have opinions about what guys are saying. I said, okay, fine. But under that same logic, BGS, that means you can't talk about non-black women either, because you are not a part of the community. See, when the conversation is about white females, I will rather listen to a white dude, because a white dude has a white mother, a white sister, and a white daughter. So if we're talking about white women, I would rather take the opinion of the white man also, because they, that's actually their women. So if we're gonna play that game, BGS and others, right? That means by default, you guys cannot talk about non-black women because they are not your women. That means that by default, when it comes to these non-black females, we have to listen to non-black men to inform us about what the women do behind closed doors. But see, the problem is that when you bring this up, guys say, oh my God, you're sick. But see, here's the issue. It goes back to what I keep saying, right? Is that dudes only recognize race when black women are involved in the space. If you have a divester who hops on the panel talking about how much Brad is better, talking about calling dudes niggas, right? Dudes will spend hours and hours and hours and hours talking about racism and all the shit that quote unquote black women are gonna, which is true, right? They become very race conscious. But as soon as the conversation is about black men, right? And the quote unquote reality of race and interracial dating, all of a sudden now, oh my God, you're dick policing. Oh my God. It's pathetic to me. It is. But one thing that truly gets me so angry is that a lot of these guys are frauds. A lot of these are frauds because they will hop on these panels, they will make these videos, they will talk about how much, quote unquote, white women are better, Asian women, they will literally pedestalize non-black women. And the crazy part is that when you bring it up, they'll say, well, Hammer, who's doing this? I'm like, you are, BG. What are you talking about? You and everyone else in this space has been hashtagging Passport Bros and Sysbm for months. You've had multiple panels doing this, talking about how, well, this is what black women are doing wrong. This is what white women are doing right. Come on, man. But the problem is, they will have all these panels. It's like they're literally just like the black female sphere, right? I'm like, Crystalline Carrison talked about how although a lot of black women will quote unquote say all this, divest stuff online, in real life, most of them circle back to black women. To circle back to black men. So they will say all this shit about black men, but in real life, they're still dealing with black men. The same thing applies to the black male manosphere. Dudes will hop on these panels. Dudes will make live streams. Dudes will spend hours, right, talking about how much black women are quote unquote different from non-black, right? Talking about the black female exception, right? All the issues that black women have, non-black women don't have, right? Talking about their preferences, right? They'll spend all day talking about that. But guess what? When they hop out these live streams, they're dealing with black women. And that's what gets me pissed. Is this fraud? Is this like fraudulent behavior? Saying all this shit, but behind closed doors, you're still dealing with the same group of women you complain about. And the crazy part is this. You literally had BGS try to bring up a video of a black female comedian. Hold on, BGS. So any other time, right? Any other time, black women are quote unquote all bad in this, right? But now that you quote unquote, now that you're in the corner and you can't in the debate, now you want to bring up a black female comedian. It just, it's funny to me, man. But anyway, yo, look, I'm going to let y'all go. But at the end of the day, look, a lot of these guys who promote SYSBN, who promote password bros, all frauds, because they will say all this rhetoric, say all this stuff, but none of them will address, right, all this shit that non-black women do. None of them will address how non-black men are essentially going MGTOW, right, and red pill, which means that these non-black females are not all they're cracked out to be. But they'll say all this shit, and lo and behold, behind closed door, they're still dealing with black women. So it's all a bunch of fraudulent behavior. But with that being said, yo, I'm gonna let y'all go. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. Tell me in the chat what you guys think. Tell me your opinion. But with that being said, Hammer out.